Welcome to Amy's Bookshelf Reviews podcast. I'm Amy Shannon, but you can call me Amy. Thank you for listening. Hello and welcome, and I hope all is well with you. And you should know that my heart is always with you as well. This is the third Sunday of the month, and that only means one thing, at least here, that is Poetry Corner. Today, I will be sharing work for myself. But as this is the first episode that is for Poetry Corner, just to give you a little bit about it, I will be reading poems and talking about poetry, um, uh, sharing my own work, also sharing work from my favorite poets. I love work by Robert Burns. My father got me into his work. Robert Frost, Maya Angelou, um, Shakespeare, and my favorite of all times is Walt Whitman. I will be sharing those and in future episodes. The Poetry Corner will always be on the third Sunday of the month, so you can tune in and hear about uh, the latest poems that I want to share or discuss poetry and the feelings that it can bring. Maybe even give you a little insight in how to write poems because I have um, talked to people who have never written a poem and they are intimidated by it because at first they think that it has to rhyme. Yes, there are lots of different poetries and prose and verse, and there are where you have to follow a specific, depending on the poem you're writing, whether you want uh, every line to rhyme with the one previously or every other line, or you break it up. There's a lot of things that go into writing poetry. I always just recommend write from your heart and then take it from there. Um, you know, if you try too hard to focus on what it's supposed to be or how it's supposed to be, then you lose that part, that emotion, that passion, that trying to be strictly consistent in writing a poem and having the technical stuff down. You're giving yourself a total blockage of if it's your passion, if you're sharing your work. And I tell you, as someone who reads a lot and a lot of varieties of genres and poems and things like that, um, I can tell when someone's trying to write as technical as possible to fit within this thing they have set in their mind, or if someone just kind of writes from, their soul, their heart. So I'm going to share with you some poems from my book called Unbroken Souls. It was published in 2014. It's the first book of poetry that I had ever published. Usually I would just write my poems in a notebook and that would be that. Um, I met um, Renee Robinson. She was a children's book author. She wrote about kids that have cancer, and so she could provide and she would donate those books to hospitals. She wanted kids to see that they weren't alone and what things may seem scary to them. What is scary and what they can do to feel better. Um, and that was her goal. When we met, um, she read some of my work. I read all of her work. She read my poetry, and she convinced me that I should put it into a collection in a book. And then we were also going to start a book review blog. The two of us would read books and then share our reviews on a small blog. And this is way back in 2013. Renee passed away, but in 2014, I published my Unbroken Souls, and I also created at least the startup of Amy's Bookshelf Reviews, and it was because of Renee inspiring me to do so. And obviously, I have grown. My website has grown. Um, I think in some circles, my reviews are a little famous or infamous. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. But I do my best to help authors. I it's one of my purposes in life, and I've discovered that is to help authors in any way that I can, even if it's just reading their work. I must say, reading someone else's work, it is a treat because you get some insight. Um, so I the first poem I'm gonna read, um, and please excuse me if I get a little choked up here because I wrote it for Renee. Fight for Renee. Renee lost her battle with cancer a few weeks after entering the hospice. And so, but I will never forget her. So, staring at the sky, light blue covered in white clouds. Slowly it fades to navy, slowly it turns to black. Black haunting the earth, twinkling stars emerge from their sleep. Blackness still haunting the earth, forcing the moon to hide, aiming towards the souls, taking and draining the lives. Time to fight and beg for light. Hope and faith threaten to fade. Time to fight. Blackness haunting the earth, blackness draining the soul. Time to fight and beg for light. Time to open our eyes and see. Blackness fades to orange, yellow, and purple. Sun rises. So that is my dedication poem to Renee. Um, it comes from the heart. Though we never met in person, um, we we actually met through LinkedIn. Um, and we, you, we started reading each other's work. And when you read someone else's work, you get that insight into the kind of person they are, the way they write. And even if it's a genre that you don't think you would enjoy, but you still get that. It doesn't matter if it's dark or light or in between. You can get a sense of a person. And sometimes the only way we writers, or poets, or whatever you want to um, call us, that sometimes writing words are the only way that we can express ourselves. And I'm sure there are a lot of times, and I know with myself, I have things written and I've never shared with anybody. It's just my own personal thoughts, my own feelings that I keep to myself. So the next poem that I'm going to read is also from Unbroken Souls. Unbroken Souls is that's the book that I'll be reading from today. Um, the next one is In the End. What can we say? What can we do? How do we feel? What do we know in the end? What's on our minds? How did we live? How did we love? How did we hate in the end? The road not taken, the paths left behind, the journey to the end, the journey from the beginning in the end. What's in our hearts? What's in our souls? What's in our feelings? What's in our steps? In the end, in the end, is it just the beginning? So that is another one of my poems. they're not always easy to share. Um, if you, the way I look at it when you're writing, no matter what it is if you have to stop and think what's next instead of feel, then it's time to just take a step back. Um, Never force yourself to write. Let your mind tell your fingers what to do, whether you're handwriting or you're typing or however you put your words on paper. Let it go from your brain and then out in whatever outlet that you use. So I am going to read one last poem here. And so it's also from Unbroken Souls. I titled it, I Already Know. I don't care if I'm white. I don't care if I'm black. I don't care if I'm gay. I don't care if I'm straight. You don't need to tell me. I already know. I don't care if I'm too fat. I don't care if I'm too thin. I don't care if I'm blonde. I don't care if I'm short. You don't need to tell me. I already know. I don't care if I'm a bitch. I don't care if I'm a woman. I don't care if I'm a man. I don't care if I'm both. You don't need to tell me. I already know. I don't care if I'm too pretty. I don't care if I'm too ugly. I don't care if I like you. I don't care if I don't like you. You don't need to tell me. I already know. I don't care if I have faith. I don't care if I have doubts. I don't care if I don't care. I don't care if I do care. You don't need to tell me. I already know. I don't care who I love. I don't care who I don't love. I don't care how I love. You don't need to tell me. I already know. I know who I am. I know how I am. What I don't know is why you think you need to tell me. I already know. I am me. Can't say the same thing about you. And I picked that one because I think, and I didn't even realize it till I was reading it now, that it's kind of, I think it fits this time. I think it fits any era that you can think of. People put you down, people judge you, people tell you things, and in a way to be mean. Oh yeah, you're too fat. Oh, I can't believe you're gay or whatever. And it's like I already know that. You know, uh, what else? What else you got? Um, so I think that that's a good place to end this episode. And I really thank you for listening. If you enjoy poetry as much as I do, you can always send me a note. Amy's Bookshelf Reviews at gmail.com, or you can contact me through my other email, writer Amy Shannon at gmail.com. Um, Either way, I would answer. Um, I think I don't. I do get requests for poetry reviews, but it actually has been a while since I've gotten them. And yes, I do review poetry. I review song lyrics. Um, if you can take your poem and put it into a song, good for you. I mean, really, what is a poem, whether it rhymes or not, but a song without the music? But only it does have the music that's in your soul. So, to quote a very old and annoying movie I just watched the other day, it's a lyrical miracle. Uh, I apologize if you have no idea where that reference came from. Anyways, if you're a poet and you want your poems to be featured on Amy's Bookshelf Reviews Poetry Corner, go to the website amysbookshelfreviews.com/podcast for more information. Please feel free to subscribe to my website, where you will get all the great email campaigns and blog posts about authors, their books, and my recommendations. You might be just as lucky as I am to find that hidden gem that keeps you reading the work of your new favorite author. Be well, be safe, and thank you. And I'll talk to you next week. This has been Amy's Bookshelf Reviews podcast. Thank you for listening. And always, be kind and stay safe. Thank you.